Hi everyone, this is Judy, and I want to talk to you a bit more about the Akashiya watercolor brush pens. And as I said earlier in another video, I bought a small set of them. Their smallest set comes with 20 colors. These brush pens are all preloaded with a single color. I have no idea how long they last for painting, but as time goes on, I'm sure I will find out. Some colors I use more than others, like maybe the yellow, the pinks, the purples, the blues, and the greens, and so they should be running out sooner than others. Anyway, you can get these on just about any art supply store that's major. You can go to Cheap Joe's, you can go to Amazon, Blick Art Supplies, and you can get them there. I did play with them a little bit before I came on for this video, and I wanted to show you what I did here. So I took one of my pens, my water permanent markers. I think this one was not a micron, but a fiber cast steel. We call these pit pens, and they do not react or respond to water. And I'm not so sure about that with microns, because right after I put this on here and I smeared it with a little water, it does bleed. And that is not what I want. I want nice, clean, crisp lines. So I rely on my pit pens for that. I did a drawing here of a flower that was in my window, and in the morning sun, what I'm going to try to show you here is that wherever the leaves cross over, there's going to be shadow, right? And how I achieve that. And these are all going to be really bright because they're in the sun. And wherever they cross over, there's going to be a shadow. I did different shapes, different stages of development for the flower. I even showed a broken off limb because I do break them off and restart them. This is kind of how they look. They start sprouting out of these little, I guess they're called nodes, and you just never know. And then I put in one flower, and the leaves all in different shapes. So I thought I would go ahead and I would start painting this. And I have a jug of water here, and my pens are all right here, and I've pre-selected what I want to use. Now I like to start with a watercolor brush. What did I do with my watercolor brushes? Oh yeah, put them up here. Alright. So I keep a whole thing of watercolor brushes, little ones like that. And I like them in this because they don't take up too much desk space. Not that I'm hurting for desk space. So I'll just take one of these out. And I did a demo video earlier of how to blend with these pens, because they are watercolor brush pens. So let's get to it and see how I do. The first thing I want to do, I found out something interesting about the green. It's pretty permanent, so it's probably a very good idea to pre-wet the leaf before I start. I'll do one leaf at a time. So I'm going to pre-wet this. Now some of the colors move very nicely with this, but the green tends to be a bit more stubborn. The paper I'm using is Strathmore Bristol board. I swear by this for using these brushes. I already did a video on why I prefer this. And I learned along with you. So I am going to use my light green to start because this part is in the sun. This paper is treated or coated with something, I don't know what it is, but it can take a beating. One of the things these pens really don't like is to be dipped in water because they will suck the water up and then your pigment doesn't come out. But in this case, because I know that the green in this, whatever it's made with, has a tendency to stain this so badly you can't move it. So that's just what I know about the green. See, I can move this along, and just where it's the heaviest I can do that. And I kind of sculpture it in my brain. I had a video on that, how to sculpture as you paint, because things are three-dimensional. Alright, now I'm going to put that away, and I'm going to take out a little water on this one. I'm going to put a little water here, and a little water here. And I just put this dark green here where the sun is interrupted from getting through to the leaf. So I create shadows with color. There you go. I'm kind of going to stay away from this for a while. Well, maybe not. That might be okay. That's okay. I'll just do this. I'll wet this like I did the other one. Use the lighter green. Okay. Now I'm going to take this brush. It's loaded with water, and I'm going to work this down, because really this is even pretty strong here too as well. And I'm going to work this down to sculpture this leaf a little bit. There you go. There we go. Go. I think we should put the heaviest pigment in the center because that's the thickest part of the leaf. See, I learn as I go too, you know. get started on those stems yet. See if that, no, it spreads pretty good. Always have to check, make sure you're in the viewfinder. Okay. This tends to add a bit of thickness on this, which I like. I like how when I lift the brush here, it uses the very least part of the pen. If you just bring it up. Bring it up. Then you go down here and you add a little more color. You want a little more definition here. You can practically sketch with these, it feels like. Really nice. This is also very forgiving paper. I'll go work this out now. And leave a little highlight there because that just lends itself so much better. This needs a little bit more color. Yes, little bit more color. You see, after this dries, this gets pretty stubborn about moving. That's the only color I found that was oppositional so far. I haven't used all the colors in the kit, but I just found that interesting. Yeah. Now I'm going to come down and do some stems for you. See, that's moving along nice. That's the darkest. You want to keep that the darkest. Okay. I forgot to put a pencil line there. I'm always forgetting. The artist who forgets. Probably takes in a lot of us. You see what a nice three-dimensional look that has to it? Okay, I'm going to wet this. Don't want to lose you out of the lens here. You'll notice I move the paper. I'm not afraid to do that to make myself more comfortable. I will do a better job the more comfortable I am. Okay. Now I'll get that wet brush in. And I'm going to pull in, pull in, pull the color in. Pull it in. Yeah. Pull in. Smooths out that roundness. There you go. So far, I've only had to use the one color, except I used a darker green for the shadows here. And when I put it on solid, it works a bit better, I think. Let me do this little stub here. No, there is a color, another color that I could, oh no, this would be better. But, sorry for reaching over, but there you go. Now I want to show you this color. It's kind of a dull yellow, and I noticed where some of the dead stuff is. It's right here. This just makes it look more like it's coming out of the stems, because there's a lot of that dead stuff. I just go like that. And especially in here. And I'm going to put one up here. Okay. I think because I use the heavy stuff, I should probably come in here. See, I use these two heavies. Let me go in here and there we go. That'll pull that down. I'll take a little brush to that. I always clean my brush between, because if you got a dirty brush, once you lay that to the paper, you've ruined everything for yourself, and you don't want to do that. Well, now this is moving really very nicely. There you go. There. There. Looks like it's more attached. And probably bring some up in here too. Make it look like it's part of the deal. There we go. Things have to be connected, so now this doesn't look so weird and bizarre. You're better than your mistakes. It's just important how you correct them. Now let me move this out of the way and look and see if you are in the, no, you're not. There you are. Now you'll notice I did this in pencil first, so I can come back in and erase the lines. So I think I'll start on the flowers, and the reason is I like to work down like that so I don't drag my hand into the wet part. So because this particular color I'm going to use I haven't tried before, so I am going to wet this. Here we go. Oh yes, I have used this before and I had great results with it. Pink and purple was what I did. And what I learned also is that I use very little of the strong pigment. So I'm going to do this and this. And because it is so strong, and I don't know if it's going to move very well, I want to be sure that I don't get ahead of myself. So I wait to see. And yes, that's right, this does move very nicely, thank you. There we go. I could have come in and used a pit pen, which I recommend because they're alcohol based, on this first, or I can do it later. And I'd rather do it later because I might just like the pencil lines, you know? So I give myself as many options as I can. I don't cut myself off from options. Never, never, never. Neverland. Okay. Okay. See how easy this is to do? Oh. These pens and I are having a wonderful relationship. You know, I talked in one of my videos about sacred spaces and altars. Before I start to do a video or set up to do any project for myself, for that matter, I make sure that my drawing board or painting board or whatever you want to call this table, which I use, it's an artist table, is all laid out and ready to go and not too cluttered and have nothing unnecessary on it that I'm not going to use. So I keep everything organized and together, and that's like a sacred ritual. You know, the pen and the pencil and the eraser go together, the alcohol-based pens go together, and the ink, the watercolor goes together, all in a neat little pile. It helps me work faster. It's the best way to explain it to you, because I know exactly where it is, whatever it is I'm reaching for. purple isn't too willing to move. I guess it's with the darker pigments you have to be a bit more careful. All right. Now that would tempt me very closely to want to use a very fine alcohol-based ink pen later on this, but I will set it aside and look at it and see if it really calls for it. You know, I shoot these videos with my iPad, and you know, it's also a very nice camera. And when I'm trying to do this, like if I want this to be a greeting card, which it probably will be eventually, I just make a photo while this whole thing's set up. Glad I'm doing this now. My studio is getting very hot. And the sun will be over my desk before too long. Okay. So I'm glad I'm finishing this up. Here's another spot where I need to do it darker. Just an overlap right here. There we go. Look how smooth that is. Oh, it's beautiful. And then I pull it up here and I get the feeling of texture, and the dark green kind of bleeds in there a little bit. Okay. Yeah, it's funny, I contend with floaters, which on some days are worse than others. If I paint before I read my emails online, I don't have a problem, but if I've been on the computer a lot looking at videos, it doesn't work for me. I get these kind of weird, I don't know, it seems to agitate my floaters. That's the best way to put it. And then I can't do as well. So I went, okay. Okay. I'm picking up some of the water from here. There we go. Now, I think I'm finished with that. I want to thank you for coming to my studio today, and letting me demonstrate these paint pens with you, watercolor paint pens with you. And again, I will show you the brand Akashiya watercolor brush pens. Get a small set and have some fun. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you later.